Hello guys, and today we'll talk about the Memoriapolis. I absolutely love this game and the developers deserve all the praise and support for such an innovating concept. This is an organic city builder and management with some elements of Anno, some civilization, and some foundation. For the roles of being organically generated, although you can orient them while placing stuff. They can be demolished, so do it carefully. You can choose the rotation of your character at the start of the game and at the beginning of each era. This gives different bonuses and some additional building. The city grows around the cultural building you place and their category influences that one with neighborhood inhabitants, artisans, merchants, scholars, and so on, each with different bonuses, building preferences, and dislikings. Different factions will increasingly fight quite a lot between them, so organizing the placement of buildings is a deeper than expected mechanic. Plus, placing stuff in order to get the layout and aesthetics of your desire, as well as optimal production takes time, and I suggest playing at normal speed, which is a perfect place. And I never play these games at normal speed. There are also buildings to manage e-commerce and administration, as well as of course production buildings. Resources are not infinite, so it's not a set and forget thing, moving and upgrading them is vital. Most importantly, it's a city builder with the scope of an endgame, being the most influential and grandiose city ever. To achieve this, you'll need to gain the cultural points through their buildings, which in turn will also advance you through the progress tree and unlock new stuff and bonuses, and through building wonders unlockable in each era. You get a score at the end of each era, and they stack up until the last era. The architectural background of the developers is evident. All buildings have character and are aesthetically pleasing, and the urban layout grows organically, but according to how well you plan your buildings, production, and automation. There's one large map at the moment with like 7 different stats, but apart from that there are already several elements for replayability, since you can characterize your city in many ways. The endgame being still missing all the replayabilities given by the city building and management experience itself. Don't listen to some reviewers, mostly one of them with 2 hours play. By the way, this is not puzzle game at all, unless you had different definitions for puzzle games. There's no proximity requirements for production buildings. Their positive attraction or negative disturbancy in the case of production buildings influence determine the success, size, and characteristics of the neighborhood. The production chain is similar to the Anno games but simpler. It will get tricky with the time though. The military or international politics is mostly a series of diplomatic pop-ups. It comes with some costs and benefits and sometimes unlocks special buildings. It grows in the Middle Ages but it's still simplistic. Its greatest benefit as of now is to provide some historical context and character email. However, I'm proud of being thanked by the Byzantine Emperor for my decisive role in the resistance against the Ottoman siege novelas. Also, I think most haven't gotten to the Middle Ages, which is far more difficult than Antiquity. Most of your buildings will decay and you'll have to choose whether to restore them at high cost or see them slowly decay and being swallowed by the houses, a super cool feature for the Rome-born like me. Production will become problematic and you'll have to commerce for food, or for the bricks you'll need to build a dungeon you want so much. Factions will grow in number into rivalries. You need to have a harder time popping up buildings upon buildings. I don't know if its difficulty switch is lack of balance due to early access, or if it's intentional, in the latter case. It's really genius and historically viable too, because you go from a prosperous area in which you have to do easy and swimming food, resources and money to one of where your lowly farm crumbles in ruins, you run out of food, you can only make an important building once in a while, citizens' happiness is gone to the problematic faction, has zero trust in you because they have Dominican faction next door. But this day it's not easy at all, although there's hardly something like losing or being fired, since there's no scope. I'd still like Antiquity to be more challenging, but I don't have to finish the game at hand of proper evaluation. I also love that you place another city center at the change of age. If you want to keep in your old knuckles, demolish some non-upgradable buildings before changing age to make space. Of course, it's still a work in progress and it features 2 of the 4 ages, some aspects need balancing, but it feels like a finished game. The aesthetics are pleasing, the scope is grand, the mechanics are deep and articulate, The pace is relaxing, but you hardly find yourself doing nothing and just watching the city growing. The music is relaxing